What's going on YouTube? Lost09 here. I just thought I'd do a quick little walk around video of the bike, kind of showing you what I've done, what I got going on, uh, different modifications that I've done. Kind of a little late to the game here on wanting to make some videos just to kind of, track my rides and my bike and where things go. But I'll go over everything, kind of show you what I got going on. And I might make some individual videos of some of the bigger modifications that I did, whether harder or, bigger, not just, a windscreen or something, but, some of the bigger stuff and kind of like a little review video. But yeah, we'll get right into it. Starting up front, I got this Puig windscreen. I just didn't like the open look of having your cluster there just open. Plus a little bit of wind protection. It ain't much, but it definitely helps. And then going down the Puig, I think it's Puig, I don't know, but the Puig front spoiler just kind of cleans it up a little bit, hides the horn a little bit under there from when you're looking up top. I think it looks good. The next big modification is the Cheegy AIO6 CarPlay device. I've gone through like 3 iPhones where it breaks the camera with the rock form or quad lock. They're all good mounts, but I've had camera issues in the past and I got tired of having to replace phones, and I just decided, you know what, I'm just gonna invest in this thing. So it's pretty cool. I got the AIO6 LTE, so it's got the LTE connectivity in it. But I mean, it's essentially Apple CarPlay. It's Apple CarPlay just like you would have in a vehicle, but it's on your bike, so you can control your music just like you would on a CarPlay device in your car. You can text messages, phone calls, and then the other cool thing about it too, it's a second screen. So I opted for the OBD2 connector plugged into the 16 pin under the seat. It just plugs right in. Sorry for the glare. And you get your speed, your tach, air intake temperature, engine temperature. You can do TPMS sensors, either screw on or built in, like the valve stem style for your car that you would have for your car. Your lean angle. I'm not a huge fan of the lean angle thing. It's kind of wonky. It'll, like right now it's saying it's -1 when the bike's straight up and down. It'll say like -20. I reached out to Cheegy and they didn't really say a whole lot. They asked me, your typical, is the firmware updated, where's it mounted, how's it mounted. I kind of explained to them it shouldn't really matter. Like, I feel like I should be able to hit this reset button and it zeroes everything out. That just resets your history on your lean angles here, not your actual where your bike's sitting. So that's kind of a miss in my opinion, but it's not horrible. You can also have a couple different screens. If you had cameras, you can get front and rear cameras, which is kind of cool. I don't need them. They're pretty expensive, couple $100 for cameras. I didn't feel a need for it. And so that's that. I mean, it's pretty legit. It's not as handy as a phone up on your bars, but if it saves my cell phone from having to get a new one, it's well worth it to me. The next big one that I did, it's kind of hard to see. I'll kind of get as good of angle as I can, but is the Woodcraft clip-ons. Now, I loved the stock seating position. I didn't have an issue with it. It was comfortable, but I had never had a sport bike, and I felt like I was just kind of missing, that feel of that sport bike feel, a little bit more leaned over, a little more sporty. So I opted to get these Woodcrafts, and man, I love them. you know, the seating position to me is perfect. They're adjustable, so you could flip that plate over right in here, and it would raise the bars. You know, they'd go from here to about here. You know, if this is a little bit too leaned over for you, but it's not an issue to me, and I've never ridden a sports bike. I've always been dual sport, dirt bikes, and big adventure bikes with upright seating positions, and even for me, it's not bad. When I put those on, I went ahead and went with the ASV shorty levers on both sides. I'll be honest, I love the way the shorties look, but they just feel, I don't know. I'm not sold, to be honest, on the shorties. When I'm on and I grab them, I like 3 fingers at least, just a little bit more control. But just that they're just a little short, and I don't have any more room here to slide them over. So, I mean, I wish they came out to, you know, a little bit longer and not like the full length. But I mean, overall, I mean, they're super nice. I like the adjustability in them. You know, some on both sides. CRG Aero mirrors, they're super nice. I had Rizomas on my bike when I first got it and had the original bars, but they didn't work. They didn't have the bar end like wedge inserts like these ones here. They just had they screwed into the factory bar, and they didn't work on this setup. So I just opted to get new mirrors. They were kind of like that Euro style, just the round, and I wanted something a little more angular, kind of go with the bike. I got my Insta360 mount there just on the bars. That's one bad thing about these Woodcrafts is you lose a lot of places to mount stuff because you're going from, you know, a handlebar straight across here to just a flat plate. And I kind of made my own little mount for that cheeky because it was down here on the end, this end of the bar, and it completely blocked my cluster, and I wasn't a fan of it. So I did that little setup with the ram arm, and I actually like it. It's actually in a pretty good spot. I can still see everything. If you look at some of my other videos, you kind of sit about here, so you can still see your speed, a little lean over. You can see your fuel and what mode you're in. But honestly, my main thing, I was always leaving my blinkers on because I couldn't see my screen. My old bike had self-canceling blinkers, so I'm still not used to turning them off. And I'd get 10 miles down the road and my blinker would still be on, and it would drive me nuts. So that's actually a pretty slick little location for it. That USB charger there, it's just like a $12 part on Amazon. It comes already pre-wired to a plug that's in here behind the light, and you just plug it right in, and it works. I mean, I don't need much. I don't really have to charge anything now that I'm not using my phone for navigation or you know, anything. You know, my phone's not dying. The only thing I will use it for is if I'm on a longer ride, I'll plug in my Insta360. That's why I have these cords here. This is just for my DJI wireless setup, and this is just a charger. So this will just plug in right here and charge that Insta360. Added tank pads. I didn't realize how much they were needed, basically, until I had them. But I was sliding all over the place, couldn't get a grip on the tank, and so those are the tech spec tank pads. Go on super easy. I heated them up like they recommend, let them sit overnight, and I haven't had an issue with them, and I think they look pretty slick. The seat, it's OEM seat, but in all my wisdom, I threw a leg over and I clipped it right here with a boot that I was wearing. I was just wearing some work boots because I was just moving the bike, and I clipped the seat and tore the leather. And so this is the leather that the upholsterer had on hand. It was like $60 to get it reupholstered. I couldn't justify spending all the money or the extra money for a like a comfort seat or an OEM seat. It's good enough. Maybe eventually I'll opt for a comfort seat somewhere. Oh, kind of cool little thing. I hated the clear resi covers, so I just 3D printed some black covers. They're out of ASA, so they're tough and UV resistant. And then I 3D printed the one with the Punisher logo there. I got rid of the passenger pegs. That piece there is also 3D printed, so I can get rid of the passenger pegs. I won't ever be moving or riding with the passenger. So I just 3D printed those little block off plates, and they turned out pretty slick. Same thing with these covers here. Just 3D printed some covers just to cover the holes. I figure I got a 3D printer, I might as well use it. So another big ticket item I've seen in some of my other videos is the Dominator GP3 exhaust. I mean, I had a Leo Vince before. Leo Vince, it was beautiful, sounded awesome. If I commuted this bike and rode it every day, that's the exhaust I would have. Honestly, it sounded amazing. It had a nice roar to it when you got on it, but it was very quiet. And the bike ran amazing with it. But with this just being a weekend toy, just a fun having bike, I wanted something a little outrageous. And I'll tell you what, that Dominator's outrageous, but it sounds amazing. Definitely need earplugs, but I ride with earplugs anyway, just the wind and not having any of that wind protection. A little unseen one, I went with the DNA Stage 2 lid for the airbox. I watched a bunch of videos from V-Cycle Nut, and the DNA Stage 2 lid, yeah, you lose a little bit of power up top, but in all his testing, you gain more than that in the mid-range, and I don't take this thing up to red-line. I don't know if I ever have. I'm right on the streets, so it was perfect fitting for my needs. And so I opted to go with that. And also when I got the exhaust from David as well, I went with the ECU flash, and man, I'll tell you what, I know everyone says it online and YouTube and Facebook, but man, that ECU flash is, that should be the number one modification that anyone does to the bike. Even if you have a stock exhaust, completely stock bike, or a modified air box and you cut the snorkels or drop-in filter or whatever you have, completely stock bike, man, get that ECU flash. I can't believe, I thought the bike was fun and plenty of power before, but I could not believe once David sent that back to me, it's like a completely different bike. The bike is, again, I've never ridden a sports bike. I've ridden big, heavy bikes. My Husky 501, it had power, and obviously not like this, less than half the power. But, it's do it. If you're even remotely on the fence about it or thinking about doing it, 100% do it. Even on a stock bike, the bike runs the way it should when it's not choked down by emissions. A couple other small little things. I went with the TST turn signals. Everyone knows those the MTs, at least those factory lights. You look at them wrong, and they're coming off, and they're super easy to knock off. And for me, they were a pain in the butt to get back on. So after that happened a couple times with my kids playing in the garage, I was like, you know what? I got to get something else. So these are way nicer. They got the flash, and then they turn back white when you don't got the flashers on. And then something else I did was the integrated rear tail light from TST as well. You got the turn signals in there and the brake lights. This one strobes. It's completely programmable, but so you can program it to kind of do whatever you want. And then also it's got the blinkers integrated into it. So if I turn on a blinker here, it's got the integrated blinkers. The bikes, it's also got a TST tidy tail with these little TST bullet things, but I decided to keep them. I mean, it's kind of odd, but you know what? I don't think it looks too bad. I'm glad I kept them on. I can always take them off. It's simple enough. If you do have two sets like this, when you buy this integrated tail light, they do sell a splitter. That way you can plug the tail light into the harness and your second set of turn signals into the harness. So you'll just need a splitter. But as far as anything else, that's about it. Pretty simple stuff, some mandatory stuff in my opinion, like the ECU flash, everything else. I like everything. I'll try to do a video kind of breaking down some of the other stuff, like maybe the Woodcraft handlebars, the Chigi, just some of the bigger ticket items. There's a million exhausts, and aside from choosing looks, what you think looks good on the bike, it's really going to come down to preference. As far as sound, we all know that you can't capture. What's up, Kitty? What's up, Sky? You can't capture the true sound of the exhaust on video. It's just, you're either trying to deaden the sound, or you're not going to get the true sound. So it's kind of hard. Hopefully, if you're interested in an exhaust, you have someone that has the exhaust and you can hear it in person. But if you want a loud exhaust that's proven to produce big numbers, I think still the Dominator GP3 is the highest rated horsepower in David's testing. It's awesome. I love it. If you want something a little quieter but still performs good, especially for as quiet as the exhaust is, definitely check out that LV Race exhaust. It sounds great. It was just a little too quiet for what I was looking for just a weekend toy. But other than that, I appreciate y'all watching. Hopefully more videos to come. Like I said, I'm just getting started with this whole YouTube and video editing thing, and there's a lot to learn. You don't realize how much work goes into doing this. I know I didn't. And newfound appreciation for all those guys out there that are making solid videos. But I appreciate you guys watching. Like, subscribe, the norm. I'll try to make some more videos and try to get better at these edits. So appreciate y'all. We'll see ya. Peace.